What role did you work in the media industry?
My role has changed over time, really. So I started off as a runner or production assistant on short films, and then I was a runner on a feature film. And then I started working as a first AD for a short while, and then I was actually like an assistant director, almost co-directing on another short. And then I made my own films. I wrote and directed and produced my own short films, and then I was writing for a very long time. I still am. And then last year I directed, wrote and produced several music videos, promos, and another short film. So you could argue my role has changed over time, although I've always known what I wanted to do in film.
Do you have been in production, in working in TV or film?
My main focus has been on film and film sets. I've never actually worked in television, so it's always been film. Yeah, mainly narrative filmmaking, but I have made music videos and commercials.
What do you like in your role?
That's a very good question. What do I like in my role? I like the teamwork aspect. I like collaborating. I like feeding off other people's ideas. I like the actual creative process. I like the idea of actually doing something from zero and having a product at the end of it. I like the reaction to my product, to my films, and I like the general kind of bonding that goes on film sets. It's quite very intense. But it's an experience like nothing else, really.
Is there something you find difficult in working in the media industry?
The main difficulty, really, in working in the media industry is, I guess, it's meeting people who are on your same wavelength. There's also a bit of a problem of building your reputation, so you're kind of, viable as a financial investment, because a lot of filmmaking is about whether somebody's going to invest money in your product. But and generally not doing it, because for me, I spend a lot of time not actually doing what I do. I spend a lot of time writing and trying to get the money to do what I do. So, it's all part of the process, really.
What requirement do you need in order to join your role?
You need massive persistence. You need to have an extreme desire to want to be a filmmaker, to the detriment of anything else. It's completely obsessive. You need to not give up, and you need to understand that, what you put in is probably what you're going to get out. You need to have something. You need to have something to say. You need to make yourself kind of marketable in some way. But it depends what your role is. It depends what what it is you want to do. Essentially, you need to be of use to somebody else. That's generally the thing going on with film. But when you get that job, you need to be really on it, and you need to really put off that job really well, because that ups your chances of being invested in. It's all about trust. It's like, you, John Dell, you give me £1 million to make a film. You're going to have to trust me to deliver that product to you in order to make your money back, right? That's what film's all about. It's all about trust, reputation, building relationships. But you need to study, and you need to be in it, and you need to be on it, and you need to do it in order for people to trust you. That's basically what it's all about. Yeah. So never, keep.
Last question. What music or film did you produce?
Well, I've made my own short films. I've made my own fiction short films. I made one last year called The Verity. I'm currently, I'm developing several features. I've got some meetings about one of them. I had one meeting about another one the other week, but that's after how long have I been doing this? Since '99. So it's kind of like, you've got to be prepared for the long haul, and also, don't expect to get wealthy overnight either. That's nothing to do with it. You just got to be really, really in it, and it just needs to be inside you. Whatever's inside you, you go for it, because it's what's going to last and guide you through anything else in life, I think.
What inspired you to start working in the media industry?
That's a really good question. What inspired me? So where I come from in South Wales, there's not much cultural, diversion, if you like. I mean, there's not much in the way of anything kind of stimulating intellectually or otherwise. So, I discovered a film called Citizen Kane when I was 17. That was my English teacher showed us that, and it completely changed my perspective about what it is I want to do in my life. so that had a big effect on me, that watching that film. But I was doing music as well at that stage, so I've always been involved in creative stuff. But that film made me think, this looks enormous fun. I want to be doing this.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years time working in the media industry?
Ideally, I'd like to be living in a different country, making, earning a living, doing what it is that I do. Whatever aspect that might take, I'm not sure, but ideally that would be making fiction narrative feature films, and writing and living a creative life, really, and not doing anything else in the meantime.
And what advice do you have to us as students trying to get into the media industry? That's
a really good question. The advice I would give is try and figure out what it is you want to be doing now, if you can. Obviously, this is a time for exploring, making mistakes, discovering areas, but the sooner you discover your area, focus on that, work on it, build relationships. Don't rely on education to get you where you want to be. Rely on yourself. It's very much a do-it-yourself industry, the film and TV industry. It's all about people you know. It's all about trust. It's not necessarily about how many qualifications you've got, but you need to know what you're doing, and you need to have some kind of income to support yourself while you get there. And then maybe that's why it's good to have your degree or your qualifications so you can get a better job to support yourself. But don't let that job get in the way of your dreams. Your dreams will always come first, always, or every time. Don't question that. Stick with that always. Yeah.
Okay. My questions now. So excluding obviously the teaching that you're doing now,
yes.
Do you consider yourself then just a freelance film producer?
Yeah, I'm a freelance film director, really.
Okay.
And so, I write feature scripts. I've been meeting producers. I'm just at that point in my life where I'm ready to go, really. But that comes from a lot of preparation, a lot of writing, a lot of self-sacrifice, a lot of do-it-yourself stuff. So
is there a set number of hours that you put aside to do that?
Oh, everything. My whole spare time is to do with it. So anytime I'm not working here or doing other stuff, I'm in the library writing, working on scripts, working on projects. I've been doing that. That's what I spend most of my time doing. Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to ask you most of the questions from the brief. And if you were to be doing what you're doing now, as a producer or director, how much would your potential earnings be within that genre of work?
Well, that's a great question. How much would my earnings be? It completely fluctuates. It's completely negotiable.
Okay.
I think for me, realistically, if somebody was going to take me on as a feature film director now, I would be on zero pay, because they'll expect me to spend 6 months of my life to make a feature film, knowing that would be my first one. So that's how it works. Be expected to work for nothing, and then if you're successful, that's when the money comes in. That's when you get rewarded. So it's a very strange business, very, very strange. It really is. But when you are successful, the rewards are massive. Could generally be massive amounts of money depending on where you're living and where the industry, what it is you're doing. But before then, you might actually be paying for all of it yourself. I've spent thousands of pounds making films, thousands and thousands of pounds. So you've got to be prepared for that. Do you know what I mean?
And if you were to work for a production company, one that's actually hired you to be a production manager or something like that, what would do you know of any expected earnings? Would they give you a salary?
Generally speaking, film directors work depending on your status. If you're a marketable name, like Steven Spielberg, for instance, right? He helps sell the film, right? So he's paid millions for a film. For somebody at my level, they might give me a percentage of the budget. So if the budget is £1 million, for instance, I might see about 5 to 6% of that, roughly, on the overall budget. But it depends on my investment. If it's a film which I'm also co-producing, again, I might not get any earnings. I might put all my earnings back into the film. Yeah. So it's all. If I'm a director for hire, you might get £30,000 making a music video. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. You might get BMW come to me for making a commercial. They might pay me 50,000 or whatever it is, or you could be earning zero. It's just completely fluctuate. Yeah. So those corporate jobs that come in from the big guys, you've got to take those, because that's going to be your earnings for the year. the rest of the time you're developing your project.
Yeah, exactly. What could you undertake after there have been, like, if you were successful, like, what would you take from this? Like, so how do you stay humble, I guess? What's the word, like so
I think that what it is if it's already inside you, it's just like, it's almost like you've been justified in your way you've lived your life. Do you see what I mean? So I've never changed the way my goals. I've never changed the way I am or what it is I want to be doing. I've always known what I wanted to do. So yeah, and obviously there's been some hard times, there's been some good times, but so when that opportunity comes, it's almost like, wow, I'm finally working. It's almost like I'm going to work. And that's the big thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like going to work is my big thing. I need to go to work.
Okay.
And then when I'm working, everything's okay.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, I'm Mr. Director or I'm going to this party or whatever. For me, it's working. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Do you ever get discouraged?
No.
Never? Okay.
Never, ever. You get bumps.
Yeah.
You definitely get bumps, yeah. But that's all part
Never
of the ride.
discouraged, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that's everything that we covered here.
All right, guys. Good interview.
Cool.
Well done.
Bye-bye.
Excellent. Good.